Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday and happy new moon in Aquarius day. Welcome to your practical application of astrology and my personal story share. So this week I decided to do this one first because I don't actually want to talk about next week's astrology before the new moon even happened, because it's happening here in Mexico later on tonight. I know for some of you guys it will be already Saturday. So I actually decided, because we also, alongside with the new moon in Aquarius, which is seeding the energy of the Pluto in Aquarius transit, because this is the first new moon with Pluto in Aquarius, and also tomorrow we have the Chinese New Year. So I decided it will be much better for me to record the astrological forecast tomorrow, bring in the new energies and actually introspect and retrospect about what's been going on this week in this video prior to these two new energies coming through properly. So let me just quickly name some of the aspects that's been taken place this week, leading us towards today, which is the new moon in Aquarius day, even though it is not going to be happening for another about 6-7 hours when I'm recording this. But of course, by the time you might be watching this, it probably would have already happened. So we entered the week again with moon in a mutable sign. It was in a sign of Sagittarius. Then on Monday we had the sun sextile to Chiron. Mercury was the first one of the personal planet that conjunct Pluto that took place on Monday, because Mercury moved into the sign of Aquarius on Sunday night, Monday early morning. Then on Tuesday we had Venus becoming the skip step exact. So Venus was squaring the nodes exactly on Tuesday. This is still in effect, but the exact square was on Tuesday. And on the same day, Sun made a sextile to the North Node and trine to the South Node. So Sun being in a sign of Aquarius, Venus still being in a sign of Capricorn, is just telling us that what it is that is creating all this tension in our life and what it is that we need to release in order for us to move forward. Then on Wednesday, we were experiencing the Venus trine to Uranus, ruled by Venus, and Mars making a sextile to Neptune. And then on Thursday, we had the Sun making the exact square to Uranus. And this, of course, is the main thing that is taking place during this new moon in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. Pluto is ruled by Uranus. Sun is ruled by Uranus. Now Mercury is ruled by Uranus. As of next week, also Venus and Mars will be ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is the one squaring the moon. And it's the rule of the moon as well. So what is Uranus about? Uranus is about a change. It's about breaking out of the outdated pattern. And definitely, I'm sure for a lot of us, this is happening in our life as we speak. So today, Friday the 9th, we have the new moon in Aquarius. For me here in the Central Time Zone, it's happening at 4:59, so just before 5 o'clock p.m. And then tomorrow we'll have the square between Mercury in Aquarius and Jupiter in Taurus becoming exact. Moon will move into sign of Pisces tomorrow on Saturday, and then Sunday will be all about digesting. Sunday and Monday actually as well will be all about digesting, and then Tuesday 13th the energies will start picking up again. But okay, so this is the astrology. I'm just gonna put my phone away so I can actually tune in properly. But yeah, this week what has been going on? Well, I mean, what's been going on for you? This is a potentially good opportunity to ask yourself that question and think about how this energy is leading up towards this new moon in Aquarius, which, I mean, I know I keep saying that every single moon, that, oh, this is the most important moon because it was the new moon in Capricorn and it's the year that is got this flavor and energy of Capricorn, and then the full moon in Leo because it's the strength card and it's all about our purpose and destiny and what we came here to do. And now we have the new moon in Aquarius. So yeah, this is important, the new moon, because guess what? We are in Aquarius age and Pluto is starting its cycle of transit through Aquarius that will take place for 20 years, even though he has one more retrograde into Capricorn. So every moon is important, but I mean, this is the first new moon with Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years, right? So this one quite of has a big significance. And it's really, in my opinion, really seeding in the energy of the Aquarian age. And there is no coincidence that tomorrow, right after, we have also the Chinese New Year, and it's going to be the year of the wooden dragon, and dragon is also about freedom and liberation and bravery and the courage and leadership skills, but at the same time to be able to ground all of that and stay present, because this is the main message that was coming through with regards to this Chinese new moon for me and my soul system Marisa in our latest Stars and Cards, the episode 15, where we're talking about this and getting guidance regarding this new moon. And the dragon on the card that actually was the wooden dragon card that came up again, it was like incredible. It looked like a spirit. It looked like a spirit, and it was in this tree. So it was like, well, that's exactly what's happening for us right now in a real time. Our soul, it's wanting to be present in our everyday reality, because we are entering Aquarian age, which is all about connection of the invisible electricity, all these energies and all this futuristic thing, all this stuff that is beyond our sensory conscious experience. And we are connecting that with our heart, which is the gateway to the soul. So this is what I've been talking about already, how I see the human 2.0. Human 2.0 is the soul being present with you every day, and you consciously making choices and experiencing this human life in alignment with your soul. So it's no longer this externalization of our power and looking up to someone else external of us, doesn't matter who it is, to look for guidance and validation to tell us that, oh yeah, this is your path, but actually to tap within, to seek that within, and then bring it out into the world. And this week, I mean, I don't know obviously how for other people, but this week was even more insane. What I'm experiencing in my current present reality is that I am unable to do as many things as I used to do, because to me it feels that time is going so much faster, but the way that I'm doing things are taking the same amount of time, but because the time is passing faster, I'm not able to do as much as, for example, I was able to do 1 month ago or 2 months ago. And this is something that I've been noticing since Pluto entered Aquarius, which for me is the first house because I'm Aquarius rising. Even though from the evolutionary astrology house system, which is Porphyry, Pluto is still in my 12th house and will remain there until next year when Pluto get to 4 degrees, because my ascendant is at 4 degrees. So anyway, so this is what I've been noticing, and I've been getting impatient and frustrated with myself, trying to observe, not beating myself up about it, that how is it possible that I am not doing anything more necessarily that I had been doing before, but I am not able to do everything I want to do because the time is sped up. The time is going much faster. And then I have an understanding, and also with the message that I just channeled, written automatically, my understanding is that this is to assist us in prioritizing, in really not wasting time anymore, not wasting time on things that don't matter, not wasting time on well, it's wrong thing to put it, but not investing time into potentially relationships that maybe serve their time. They serve their time and they may be not supposed to go with us further. So I really feel that with this acceleration of the time and these presence energies, and especially with these squares, Venus being the skip step, and Venus is the resolution node's ruler, the South Node's ruler, because South Node is in Libra until next year's January. We no longer can go out there and expect the external world to tell us how to deal with this, what's happening, how to deal with this reality. It doesn't mean that you don't find resources that can assist you or assist me, but we still need to process it. We still need to take it through our inner guidance, inner filter. So I really feel that with this speeding up of a time and things happening so quickly, and this instant manifestation I've been talking about, and also this much faster realization and recognition when something is out of alignment. This is the main thing that I've been noticing in my personal life, in my personal experience, that it takes me much shorter amount of time to become aware when something is not right for me. Because previously, being younger, obviously, being insecure, and also coming from a family of people pleasers and being conditioned to become one, even though I could never really embody that role, but not to the extent that, I was being required to. But anyway, throughout my life, I can notice, looking back, how long it took me to acknowledge or notice or become conscious of a pattern, or, for example, if there was a person in my life or a relationship dynamic. I could go years being completely unconscious, completely ignorant and completely unaware, and just kept projecting, and then the person kept mirroring, or the environment kept mirroring. It's not just about personal relationships, it's about everything, because everything in our reality is relational. So now what I'm noticing, and I mean, this has been happening for a while, of course, but especially since Pluto moved into Aquarius last month, how quickly these things are becoming obvious. So there is no need to go wasting, I don't know how much more time to repeat the same pattern, or to try to invest into relationship that actually, is it going anywhere? Because now we're living in a times where, apart from the fact that time is accelerated, and we don't know really what's coming and what's happening, and everything is kind of unknown, let's just say, very unknown, because we are living in a times of very rapid transformation, and the new that's being brought through and being birthed is very different from everything any of us being alive in this physical form, in this avatar, had ever experienced before. So that's why I really feel that we are kind of like, it really is the path of self-discovery with this North Node in Aries, which has been the case since July last year and will remain the case until January next year. And the node obviously still being ruled by Mars, well, because it's in Aries, and Mars having the conjunction with Pluto next week, actually on a Valentine's Day. And then Venus, the ruler of the South Node, will have a conjunction with Pluto on the 17th, and then Mars and Venus have a conjunction. So everything is changing. Everything is changing. Our priorities, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to other people, our relationship to life itself. And I think especially because of the activations with the Leo archetype last year, when Venus was retrograde in Leo, and then we just had the full moon in Leo, for which Pluto was already in Aquarius, but Uranus, the ruler, was still retrograde. Now Uranus is direct, so we have more clarity about where we what we're moving forward with. But also because Mars, as the ruler of the North Node, will be retrograde in Leo as well at the end of the year. It will retrograde back into Cancer, I believe. I'm pretty sure, but it will start it will start it retrograde in Leo. So it's all about this reevaluation of the purpose and destiny, and what we came here to do, and who we are, and who we authentically came here to become. Like what did we come here to be? What did we come here to experience? So this is why I feel, because this path of self-discovery is the main focus of this North Node in Aries, and everything is being filtered through that. We are discovering a completely different version of ourselves and very different aspects of our reality through the new lens. Because Jupiter was the one square in the previous lunation, and it was the crisis in consciousness square to the full moon in Leo, and that was saying about things that we are releasing. Jupiter is in Taurus. Jupiter is helping us to understand the story within ourselves, as I've been mentioning the stories for a long time. And Jupiter is going to move into Gemini later on this year, and it's going to trine Pluto, because Gemini and Aquarius, they trine one another. So there's going to be trine between the two of them, which means that we have multiple options. So this is literally the year, and I was already talking about this last year with the new moon in Sagittarius, that we are choosing our timelines. But in order for you to choose the timeline that is in alignment with who you are, you need to know who you are. And that's why I really feel that now, especially since Pluto has been in Aquarius, and now with this new moon in Aquarius, which is seeding this new energy of the Aquarian age, and this transit that will take place for 20 years, we're becoming very conscious, even though it is all happening still behind the veil, and the new moon doesn't offer any clarity, but we becoming very conscious of what it isn't. So for example, for me and my personal experience, like I said, apart from the fact that I feel that I'm struggling to keep up with my normal routine, or the things that previously I would have done, within the same window of time, and now it just doesn't happen like that, because the time is running much quicker. So it is just not possible, which is making me to reprioritize. It goes, okay, well, how much time do I have to do whatever I need to do now? That which I need to do, is it necessary? Does it has to be done today? Like prioritizing, like really and at the same time to learning to make yourself a priority, because whereas last week I was talking about how I couldn't go out, and that caused a crisis in me, because I was like, I need the nature, I need to connect with the elements, so I felt like I was stifled, I was like dying inside. Well, this week what I experienced was the opposite, because I tried to go out like every other day, and at the same time, prior to going out, I was trying to do all these things that I normally do, but there is not enough time to do them now because the time is speeding up faster. I was neglecting my indoor practice. So like my meditation, me pulling some tarot cards or oracle cards, me writing channeled messages. I have actually spent very, very little time. I do meditate every day, but it was really minimal. It was really like 10, 20 minutes, very minimal time. But sometimes I meditate for 1 hour or 2 hours. And also my coloring, I neglected that too, because I was trying to do the things that I felt my ego said that needed to be done. And then there is your reward, you can go out. But then when I go out, it's a different process. It's a different process. And this is what I mean. We are learning where things are out of balance, and then how we can bring them back into balance. So what became conscious for me was like, okay, where am I leaking energy? Where am I leaking energy? Where am I investing my time into something that actually, is it nourishing me? Is it actually supporting me in who I am and who I want to become and where I want to go? So this is the things that I'm becoming very conscious myself. Then apart from all of that, still there is this continuous tiredness where I really, really believe, and me and Marisa, my soul sister, were talking about this in our last Stars and the Cards as well, where we were saying, I was, I think, bringing it through, that our body is struggling to adjust to this fast pace, because yes, there is all this Aquarian energy. Pluto is an Aquarius, like, okay guys, I'm ready to go, Aquarian age and all the rest of it. But our human body needs time to adjust. We're not wired like maybe the children and Pluto Sagittarius kids, they are much more attuned to this fastness, like quick, everything quick. But us that are like little bit older generations, we were not born with the same software, let's just say. So for us, well, I mean, I can at least speak for myself. I'm not saying everybody is experiencing the same thing. But what I'm experiencing is that I really feel my body is struggling, which is why I'm so tired all the time, because my body is trying so hard to adjust to this fastness, to this new accelerated energy, while I'm pushing it to keep doing the things that I always do and stuff. And it's just making me very tired. Like I'm really experiencing that I'm feeling really, really tired. I am not sleeping enough, which of course that is my own responsibility. I need to be sleeping more, but again, there is not enough time in a day, and that again takes us back to the question of prioritizing and self-care, and are we nourishing ourselves, and are we putting enough into the cup, so then we have something to offer to the external environment, right? But yeah, but the main topic that really was coming up for me, which is perfectly in alignment with this Venus square to the nodes, Venus being the skip step from the sign of Capricorn, is that what is this structure of our reality, the structure of our matrix that we created and we are now experiencing, and we will continue to create an experience that is connected to other people, that potentially is preventing us from going to the next level. So let me explain, so this doesn't sound completely, crazy, but are there relationship or relational dynamic currently present in our life that come from an old time, come from past, it come from this program, comes from this is how it should be, and also the versions of ourselves that we were, this is, how we operated, what we were attached to, and it served its purpose at the time. But is this actually now preventing us and stopping us from going into this next level, from going into this Aquarian age? So, for example, I always believe that, oh, and if somebody messages me, I need to message back straight away because it's rude not to. And already in my previous week's shares, I did disclose that I am not able to do that anymore. I am not able to get back to people straight away. I still feel like a pang of guilt sometimes. And oh, why do I feel guilty, about this? That's interesting, so why do I feel that the other person's needs, and this is actually, again, it could be me projecting, thinking that this person is at their phone waiting for my answer, where probably the person is going through the same process, that, oh my God, I need to message this person. There is something I need to tick off my box so I can then focus on something else. So this is the thing, we keep, because of the belief system we have and this past conditioning, we keep projecting it into our environment and into our experience, therefore creating the same future. So this is what I always believe. If you got a message, if you get an email, it's impolite not to respond or to let the person wait or something, because it's like, oh, well, I need to respect their time. And then things, because of how my life has been turning out in the past, especially 6 months, I am just not able to do that anymore, because at the moment I'm a one person's business. I have to do everything, my social media, my readings, my responding to emails. And I know that is the same for many people, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm not saying, oh, poor me, but I'm just trying to explain this example, that because of all of that now has been added to my life, which I'm very grateful for and I enjoy, I am not able to then go and spend another hour, 2 or how many, to go responding to messages, So, and it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate or respect the person on the other end potentially waiting for the reply. They might not be waiting right here, right now for it to be, delivered straight away. But this is something that I had to question and adjust. Because at the end of the day, how much can you do in one day? How many hours do we have available in each day? And many of us will say there are not many hours, there are not enough hours in a day, which means that, okay, becoming aware of the time definitely has sped up. And this is a fact. I mean, I really don't think that anybody can disagree with this. The time definitely is passing very differently than it used to be passing, or at least we are aware of it differently. So based on what we know, what facts we have at the moment, what can we do with it? And this is where I'm finding this need and necessity for reprioritizing, continuous learning and adjusting, which I just, realized that with all this Virgo quality that's always been underlining this year because of the moon being in Virgo when we entered it, there is this continuous, let's observe, let's learn, and then let's adjust, and then we can always adjust, we can always change it again, so there is not there is no really need for this judging and criticism and feeling guilty and ashamed if we are failing our own or somebody else's, most of the time, expectations. Because at the end of the day, we don't actually know what are these other people's expectations. Most of the time, we don't even ask them. We just assume, because we project in our thing onto other people, right? Like where we feel like, oh, I know how that person would feel, but I don't actually know how would that other person feel. I only know how I feel, because nobody else can know how somebody else feels. Like even if we are empaths, it's still going through our own filter. It is not 100% what the other person is feeling. I mean, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps in some people's cases, it is literally that they can become the other person, with everything. I don't know. That would be a bit weird, but it is possible. I'm not saying it isn't. What do I know? But it's always coming through our filter as far as I'm concerned. So going back to these relationships, and I think that's probably on many people's minds, because of course next week is the Valentine's Day, which yet another topic of side note conversation, is something that I never really celebrated myself. The fact is that majority of Valentine's Day in my life I was single. I probably was involved with someone maybe for 2 or 3 of Valentine's Day days in my entire life, and I'm almost 39, so there hasn't been that many opportunities or needs to celebrate it because there was no one to celebrate it with. But I am not really person that buys into all of this. Oh, this is what everybody is doing, so I should be doing that. I'm actually the opposite. So it's like, even when, for example, going on a tours or trips or places, like yeah, it speaks she that is now in Puerto Vallarta touristic place, but I like going where nobody is going, and I like doing things the opposite way. Like, okay, everybody wants to go to gym at this time, okay, I go in a completely different time. So it's the same like with Valentine's Day. If there is something that the society agreed on, okay, let's all of us keep doing this, I am not gonna do it because I am, rebel. So again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Why I even brought that topic here is because we approach in Valentine's Day. So many people are becoming very aware, starting to feel the pressure. I mean, maybe some people are really super excited about it, but for a lot of people, it's like an extra thing that they need to stress about. Like, oh my God, now I need to make plans. Now I need to figure out what that person needs. And I'm not saying, for some people, maybe some people really enjoy it. And it's like, oh yeah, fantastic. Even though like we don't really need Valentine's Day to do any of the things we do on Valentine's Day. But this is again what is bringing the attention to relationships. Like, okay, Valentine's Day, okay, relationship, okay, like what do we want? What do we need? Are we happy, in our relationships? What does it look like? Does it look like still, does it actually look like the way that we want it to look like? Or did we settle? Did we, compromise and all that? So what's been going on in my life, my personal life, is that I've been really reevaluating this, because universe is always testing. Universe is always testing. I mean, it's testing me, but it's testing all of us. It's not like I'm special in this. And I've been single now for a year and a half. And I was like, like universe always tests me. So I'm like, okay, well, probably I'm going to meet someone, because this is how usually universe goes, like, oh, did she learn the lessons or what? And there was someone that I was in communication with, and then it's always the same pattern for me, which I'm now really aware of, that universe presents me, as I already shared in my previous videos, with someone who is completely unavailable. Whether that's because of the distance, they don't live in the same place that I do, that is like a long distance thing, or whether there is a circumstance in their life when they are not available because of whatever circumstances, or whether there is an emotional unavailability because the person is wounded and they didn't do their healing, and then they don't feel like they can open up or trust or make themselves vulnerable, which goes the same for me, because I have a lot of that, this fear of abandonment and betrayal, and where we keep our guards up because we are afraid that, oh, if I make myself too vulnerable, then what will happen? And a lot of us carry this wounding because it's something that is embedded in our collective consciousness, this desire to attach and have an intimate connection with someone, but at the same time, oh, if I give you too much and then you betray me, then what if I don't survive, or something like that, which is the Scorpio archetype. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say with this is that there has been this pattern which I've been observing, and very quickly, not a few years later, like in the past, I was able to recognize that, okay, yeah, I understand what's going on here. That again is the same pattern of me attracting people who are unavailable, or me like trying to make excuses and trying to justify or compromise and stuff like that, and then actually recognizing, well, is this what I want, yes or no? Because even I've heard someone saying somewhere, well, if it's not a clear yes, then it's probably a no, because when it's a clear yes, your soul just knows, like your heart just jumps. But when we're not sure, it doesn't mean that it's 100% no, but it's closer to no than yes, because if it's not yes, then what else it can be, right? But again, we could look at this like it would be too black and white to just consider it this way. But over the period of time, which was not very long period of time, I was able to recognize that, well, is this what I want, yes or no? And the answer is not yes. And now it's coming closer to no. And after, this period of time, I actually realized that the answer actually is no. At the beginning, it was not clear yes, but it was like, okay, well, let's see, maybe yes, maybe no. And now it's like, no, it's a no, because there are too many things which are not in alignment. And this is what I mean, that we are becoming more and more attuned, hopefully, or conscious or aware of where we are out of alignment. And of course, for many people, this is connected to relationships, because the South Node is in Libra. The Venus as the ruler is squaring the South Node right now. So there is a lot of focus on relationships, where we are or are not in alignment with regards to our relationships, and why. So again, the question is, okay, why would I attract this kind of people into my life? So as I previously shared, well, of course, there is this wall within me because of this healing that is still in a process and been put on a hold this week because of all the other things that's been taking place. And because there is still this process that I'm experiencing at the moment. So I know, like, okay, well, there is still some vulnerability. There is still something I'm processing, working on, and all the rest of it, which I'm aware and conscious about. It's not like this is why I'm being transparent. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I got it all figured out. My life is perfect. Like, I don't think anybody's life is perfect, but definitely not mine. So I actually realized through conversation with a friend of mine, where many times we have this realization when we actually talk about things with someone, because then we have opportunity to process it. So throughout this conversation yesterday with a very close friend of mine, I had the opportunity to actually understand what was going on here, because I've been processing this for a period of time, and now like this gestation period of me processing has now come to the peak. And then I talked about it, and then I actually realized, what is this about? That yes, well, it's not in alignment. And it's also, there was this amazing video from Teal Swan, which was published, I think, a couple of weeks ago, which was about it was maybe last week, actually. Well, it was recently. And she was talking about this, that the number one mistake in relationships, and I recommend people to check it out because it's a very good video. It's not very long. It's, I think, about 15 minutes, maybe less. I think it's called literally the number one mistake in a relationship. I will put it in a description. And this is what Teal was talking about. And she was saying that a lot of people enter relationships with this idea of like, oh, there is a potential in this person. Like, yeah, I can see that potential where this can go, right? And she says in that video, and obviously I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but this is very important thing to mention at the same time, that what actually if this person will never change? What if what you're experiencing right now and how this person is right now, it's how it's gonna be? Well, which of course, like, people do change, one way or another, because we change, people change, environment change, everything will change. And especially for people who've been in relationship for a long period of time, they can definitely attest that, oh yeah, our relationship is not the same as it was when we met, and like when we were like 20 years younger or something, because everything is continuously changing. But if we go into relationship with the fact that, oh well, I like the potential, this person has a potential, so they just need maybe some time, or they need to change this and this and this. And Teal explains in this video, and that this is, again, not everybody has to agree. I just really want to put it out there because I'm just sharing what I'm interacting with, but I'm in no way saying that this is the universal truth, or this is right, or this is what everybody should be believing or doing. I'm just sharing my observation because of what I have been processing this week myself. So so this is what Teal Swan was pointing out, where she was saying that, well, a lot of people make these mistakes of getting into a relationship with someone that actually, in many cases, maybe there is no compatibility, or like she says, the difference between compatibility and workability, which again I would recommend people to go and check out in her video database. She's got like thousands of videos, obviously. But this is the thing, like, what can we actually live with, and what we are hoping to change one day, and what if it never does? So going back to my situation, I was like, okay, yeah, there might be a potential, this person, like, there are things I like and there are things I don't like. So there could be a potential. And then, yes, then it comes to the column of the things you don't like so much, because there always going to be something you don't like about someone, because nobody's perfect, right? There are things that we like, and there are things that, we don't care so much for other people, but to which extent can we live with them, right? With these aspects of this other person. Sorry, that's my crystal, I just dumped on the floor. These other people. So I actually had the opportunity to realize that this is not there is no compromise when it comes to some of these qualities. And then I decided that, okay, well, then how much time do I want to invest into this, and how much of my energy do I want to allow to, in a sense, leak into this direction that is not going anywhere. And this doesn't mean that if a person cannot be the thing that you want to be, or you want them to be, like, to play the role that you assign to them, that they cannot play a different role, right? Because that doesn't mean, again, that, oh well, if you cannot be this, then get out of my life. And in some cases that could be the case, but in some cases we can just shift the perception, the way we look at the situation and the person, and we can say, okay, well, I thought perhaps we can be this to each other, but actually that is not quite what would work for either of us. So perhaps we can be this something different. But then we retrieve that energy, we call that energy back to us, that we were investing into this dream of this person becoming this particular thing. And it was because, like, for example, I'm sure, and many girls, and very likely if there are any men watching this, they can also attest, confirm that if we think that this person is gonna be the special one, right, which is, again, we can go into the theme of how relationships will be definitely changing and reshaping and being redefined, what actually relationships are and what they mean, going forward in the age of Aquarius. But if you just stay with what we know now, which is this, like, one-on-one most of the time, like two people being together in a relationship, which I know is already changing, but let's just stay with the traditional concept of relationship. Many people can confirm that, okay, if you think that this is that person for you, even though it doesn't have to be the one for your life, but we always hope that, okay, well, this is going to be something worth my investment that will, last some time. We are willing to put so much more time and effort with regards to this person. Now, if we decided, okay, well, this person cannot be that for me, but maybe they could be a good friend that I can go, I don't know, for a coffee once in a while and have a catch up or something, then we invest much less time and effort into the relationship. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So this is where I had to look into my current situation, my current life, and go like, okay, so things are speeding up. I don't have enough time to do everything that my ego wants me to do because it just doesn't seem to be possible right now. So there are things that needs to change. There are things that needs to adjust. Potentially also how I do things, but also to have an awareness, what is the priority and where am I leaking time? Which is, for example, like if people are in businessmen, and then always they go about the expenses, like, okay, where can we cut? Like if people want to like maximize their profit, they go through, the things where they, the expenses, especially, if there are things that, I mean, I don't really understand these things because I don't run that kind of business, but where people like are thinking like, okay, where can we maximize profit so we don't have to waste so much money onto this or something. So they retrieve that energy, because everything is energy, to put from one place to another. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So this week, this is what became very clear to me. I'm not saying it about every area of my life, but because at one end, I'm experiencing all this frustration and pressure and tiredness because there is too much going on and there is not enough time in a day, so to speak, even though, of course, the time is unlimited because the time is not linear. But how we experiencing time right here, right now, it feels there is not enough time in a day. Then at the same time, I needed to become aware, okay, where am I leaking energy? Where am I investing energy or potentially investing energy into something that doesn't have a positive impact on my energy field, where I maybe will feel, upset, or I will feel unsatisfied, or I will feel, whatever it is. So how can I modify this? How can I change this? And this I feel, which is why I decided to make this video before my astrological forecast, because this is the things that we are closing. This is all the closing phases. The Venus and Mars are going to have a conjunction next week. They're still in a closing phase to one another. They both still in Capricorn as I record this. And the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, is in Pisces. Endings. Mars just made a sextile to Neptune. This is, the last sextile before the conjunction, leading us towards endings. We know that Chiron North Node are going to have conjunction on the 19th. Endings. Jupiter and Uranus are going to have a conjunction in April. Endings. Obviously, Mars making a conjunction with Pluto and Venus making a conjunction to Pluto next week. There is an ending between Mars and Pluto, ending of a cycle between Venus and Pluto. So this is what I mean. Because everything is always happening at the same time, simultaneously, but because there is this new energy, this very, very prominent, powerful new energy being seeded with this new moon in Aquarius. Of course, there was a very powerful energy being seeded with new moon in Capricorn, but everything is connected. Yeah, it's just different aspect of the same thing. With the new moon in Capricorn, is about you need to step into your own authority and be courageous to take responsibility for your life. With the new moon in Aquarius, it's about how you individuate in, like, yes, you're going to do this, with the Capricorn, there's the tangible energy, there's the earth energy, that yes, this is what, like how it's going to be manifesting in your everyday reality, you being able to set boundaries and say no. But with the Aquarius, it's like, yes, but who are you, who are you, like, yes, like, in Capricorn, your position is Cancer, which is our inner world. But with the Aquarius is different because it's the air and the fire. So it's like how you think, how you perceive the reality, through this individuated lens. And with the fire, it's like, okay, what is your calling? What is your heart telling you? What is the fire burning inside you, which is unique to you? And then, once there is this fire of inspiration, or the idea, the thought, the air, then we put it into manifestation. We put the water, the energy, the emotion into it, and then we manifest it, right? So everything is connected. Everything is always connected. But as I keep saying, with regards to the zodiacal wheel, we cannot get to Aquarius without going through Capricorn. So we need to, in a sense, be able to take the responsibility to break free from the outdated pattern. Now, the new moon in Aquarius, it's saying that we are decentralizing, we are going beyond the old pattern, which served its purpose. It absolutely did. So in no way I'm saying that all this is garbage and, like everything that came before it's waste of time. No, because everything holds a purpose. This is again what I've been talking about for a while now, that nothing in the universe is accident or random or coincidence, because everything holds a purpose. So everything that ever happened, every role that you ever played, everyone that you ever met, everything that you've ever experienced, it holds a purpose. However, now with this new moon in Aquarius, we are starting to understand that yes, it absolutely does or did hold a purpose, but now we go into the next level. So we're going to take the gifts of that which we learn, and that which, we learned, but it's no longer in resonance or in alignment, we letting it go. And this is where is Aquarius taking us, is taking us beyond. So going back to my examples, this week especially, very likely many of us, and now with this Mercury having a square with Jupiter, especially because Mercury is in Aquarius and Jupiter is in Taurus, and Venus, the ruler of Jupiter and Uranus, is the square to the nodes, resolution south node, so again, we can just keep hopping from planet to planet. But this week especially, we are very likely becoming aware of these things, these old patterns that now are losing meaning, that are like, do I want to keep doing this? And a lot of it is connected to other people. A lot of these patterns are connected to other people, because even if the person is not present in a situation, our behavior towards the person or our behavior towards a situation or circumstance usually come from a program that was being passed on to us by someone else or something else, like, religion or culture or anything. So this week, as we are just about to experience a new moon in Aquarius and a Chinese New Year, right on the back of the new moon in Aquarius, and there is again no coincidence, and this is a year of a dragon. I mean, come on, it's not a year of a rat or something, it's a year of a dragon. And dragon is a mythical animal, it's like a lot of people would say, dragon, what you mean, dragons don't exist? So again, we're going beyond the mundane. We're not talking about a year of a rat or a year of a rabbit, which is ending now. We're talking about dragon, a mythical, fiery, feisty being that people say, well, I'll believe it if I see it. Of course, it's just a fairy tale. But this is what I mean. This is what I was saying last week. We need to believe it in order to see it, because our ego only knows what already happened. It only knows what it knows, and that's why it's keeping us alive, because of the database on all the information that's been accumulated over, all the times, right? But we're going beyond now. So to bring this to the close, because I feel I'm just talking in circles about the same thing, and I want to read the message as well, and we're on 43 minutes, and I don't want to make it too long. This is what I feel that has been coming to many people's awareness and consciousness because of what's happening energetically, because of this energy being seeded, and always for something new to be birthed, something has to end, because that's the wheel. That's why the zodiacal wheel is a circle, because like from Pisces we go to Aries, And from Aries, we go all the way around until we get to Pisces, and the circle will begin again. And that's why even the year, everything is cyclical. When there is an ending, there is always a new beginning, because a new space is created. And that's why it is very scary, because we think like, oh, if I let this go, this person, this job, this house, whatever it is, this car, then what if there will be not another thing? But there always will be something new to fill that space, because universe doesn't leave empty spaces. And we know that, because even in our lives, if we lose someone, like the person that comes into our life will never be copy paste of the other person, but there is always new person coming into our life. And we might even think like, oh, because now for example, the friends that I used to have, and then they fell off my life or radar or something, and now suddenly I'm not giving my energy to these people, so now there is a space in my life to give energy to someone else or something else. So even with this person that like I was communicating with, I was thinking like, okay, why am I giving so much time to something which I already know in my heart is not gonna go anywhere? This is not what I want. It doesn't mean that this person cannot play a different role in my life, that there is no purpose in this meeting or in this connection, but is it what I want? Is it what is in alignment with me? And then there is again this having to overcome the fear of the ego, thinking like, well, but what if there will be nobody else? And this is where you always have to choose you. You always have to choose you. If something is not yes, if something is not exactly what you want, then why would you compromise for something less? And then, this is like how I was being brought up. You always have to have a plan B and C and D and whichever other plan. And I was like, but why should I compromise? Why should I go for something that I don't want when this is what I want? And sometimes, like I said, universe will test us. Universe will test us. It will send us this person that is not the right person, because it will say, well, are you going to settle? Or do you need to still learn something from this person? Do you need to learn a lesson? Because everybody we meet is a teacher. Everybody comes into our life to teach us something. It doesn't matter who it is. They're all teaching us something. So what is this person teaching me? What is the person in your life teaching you? It's teaching us about ourselves, what are our needs and values. It's also teaching us about humanity and, being loving and having unconditional love for people. Because, people act from, many people act from unconscious place of wounding. So rather than, making them feel guilty and ashamed or something by lashing out at them for, being or behaving in a way that potentially they might not even be aware of, we are approaching a new way of relating to one another, where we are grateful for the lesson. Thank you very much for bringing this lesson in this awareness into my life. But now I'm not going to go and judge and criticize you for you teaching me this. I'm going to, let it go with love and gratitude and peace in my heart and say thank you very much. Thank you for teaching me. So I don't have to not waste time, because nothing is ever wasted, but now I can move to the next thing, which I know is going to be more in alignment with who I am, because I just had this understanding through this experience what that was or what that wasn't, even if I don't know exactly what it is, but I know what it isn't. So this is what I mean, when we beat ourselves up about wasting time with things, people and stuff, well, it is, if we beat ourselves up about it, then we are in the resistance and we can't change it, which is like I was saying previously, the acceptance and awareness is the first step, is the key to any change, right? So that's why when we actually accept, okay, this happened, there obviously must have been a reason for it to happen. And what did we learn? What did we learn through the experience? And then once we acknowledge that, then we don't have to keep repeating the same experience. So for me, like I said, okay, long distance relationship, no thank you, not interested, or being involved with someone who has completely different values doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make them wrong, or the different belief system. But why would I want to be with someone like that when there, I'm sure, are plenty of people who have similar values and, see reality similar way than I. So this is what I mean. This is where it's so hard for people, because they are afraid. that are afraid that, oh well, but nobody's perfect, like this is what I've been listening to about my, from my mom, about my dad. Oh, but nobody's perfect, he's not the worst. And I'm like, obviously them two have their own karmic contract and things they have to learn from one another. But I'm like thinking, well, why settle, and why wait? Why wait? Life is short, it can end at any moment, right? So anyway, guys, I think I think I said what I needed to say, and like I said, I would be just going in a circle. And this is not again so much about what actually so many things happen. This is about a realization, about things clicking into place for us. And if you catch yourself, if you have the awareness, if you start thinking about situation differently, or even if you just start questioning, think, that's amazing. That's a progress. There is no reason like, oh, I catch myself doing this or saying this, or like me again, like, oh, I notice myself behaving in this way and this is the old pattern, or settling for someone that is actually not who I want or something, and that's the old pattern. And rather than me feeling like, oh, calling myself names and going like, why do you keep doing that? It's like, okay, well, I noticed after 1 month, didn't have to take me 2 years. Well done. And then we just move on, and it's all good. And like from my life experience, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Every next thing that I attracted into my life, once I let the thing or person that wasn't right for me go, was better. And I don't know again how it is for other people. I can just share my experience, but every single time this was the case. Whether it was a relationship, my every next relationship that I was in was an improvement from the previous relationship, even though sometimes it was like a sidetracking, especially before, when I was completely asleep, ignorant, and didn't understand anything. There was a lot of the same old. But once I started working on myself and becoming conscious and deciding that, okay, well, there cannot be always the same person just looking differently that I am so unlucky to attract, so there must be something in me that is attracting them. So let's just start there, because like my friends say, well, who is the only constant in this? Well, it's me, right? So it must be something in me that, and now understanding the law of attraction and frequency and resonance and stuff, I have to be on that frequential wavelength to attract that person. Is like tuning into the radio station, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's change the radio station. If you don't like this song, let's change the radio station. So this is what I can just share from my life. Since I started to become conscious and stop blaming and projecting and saying like, oh, all these men are a-holes and they suck, and there is no good men left in the world and stuff like that, which is not true. It is, I mean, if you believe it, there's the kind of people you're gonna meet, but it's not truth. It's not the universal truth. I'm sure there are a lot of women who would tell you otherwise. They would say, no, actually, I met some very nice men in my life. Actually, my ex-boyfriend was a very nice guy. I was very lucky to be in a relationship with some very nice guys. So it is not the truth, right? And I can definitely admit that the next person I was with in my past was definitely an upgrade. Well, upgrade, that's the wrong way to put it again, but I felt more in alignment with than the one before. It's the same with the job. It's the same with whatever, So this is what I mean. Don't be afraid, even though, that comes rich, don't do this, don't do that. Yeah, like it's just like open yourself to curiosity and let's just try it. I mean, if this is not exactly what you want, then what do you have to lose? And this is the thing, when we compromise ourselves, we compromise our needs and values because we settle. But why settle? I mean, it might take time, but I mean, in this time and age, and with Pluto in Aquarius, the time is very short. Everything is happening quickly. So it might take much less time than you think. You might think like, oh yeah, but it's gonna take so much time and I can't be bothered and stuff. Things start to take much less time than we think. So actually, let's just start, So anyway, like I said, I'm just gonna go into more rabbit holes. So I'm gonna leave it here because I've been talking for a long time already about the same thing. But this is the experience I've been having this week. I guess I myself was going in circles. That's why I'm talking in circles, because this is what I've been experiencing. Like, am I living this what is it, the dog day, hound dog day, or whatever it's called? You can tell I didn't see the movie, but yeah, that one. So anyway, I asked my guides to share something today. So this is what I got. The time you are experiencing has sped up noticeably. This is why you might be struggling with getting as much done as before, perhaps. This is to assist you in prioritizing and also to recognize much quicker when something is out of alignment with who you are becoming, so you can let it go. Your soul wants to become more and more present in your everyday life. Your soul wants you to focus on things, people, and circumstances that are supporting you on your path. When something keeps popping up and bothering you, it needs your attention. It needs to be resolved and released so a space is created for better things to come into your life. Also, new people. A lot of you are going through the process of purging. Many of you are letting some people in your life go. Everything is accelerated, and so is the awareness of how much time you are willing, on conscious or unconscious level, to spend with people you are no longer in alignment with. Don't beat yourself up about it, and don't judge yourself or another. Just let it go with love and peace in your heart. All that's ever been a part of your life has served a purpose, whether it was something or someone. It once entered your life to teach you something. However, nothing stays stagnant. Nothing is ever meant to stay the same. You change, and everything around you is changing. So are your relationships to yourself, to your life, and to another. It's time for change. The time is now. With this new moon and tomorrow's Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, seeds of the future are being planted. There is no going back anymore. Be at peace with your present. Observe and learn. What no longer serves or resonates with you, it's time to let it go. When something ends, always something new will begin. That's the cycle of life. That's the nature of things. So allow the new to come in, embrace the unlimited potential that universe has to offer you. Take the time you need to mourn if necessary. However, as the time is speeding up, you might be finding yourself noticing that it doesn't take as much time to notice, process, or let go of that which is out of alignment with your soul's frequency. Don't judge it, embrace it. Celebrate the new life that's being birthed while the old is dissolving and making a space for the new to grow. We know it is not easy for humans. You are creatures of habits, wanting your comfort that's derived from safety and security, and that is always available to you inside yourself, which is why you are always being guided within, because the outside world cannot guarantee you anything. It's in the ever-changing state of flow and transformation. That's life, and that's the experience you came here to have. The soul is excited. The soul is ready. So notice what it is that wants to be released in your life right now. What's the new sparkle and pull of interest you might be experiencing? Remember, fear and excitement are very closely connected. The human ego mind gets afraid of things it cannot control or predict. It cannot compartmentalize based on the past experience and program. However, your soul is excited because that which is making the ego afraid is something unknown, something new, which the soul is excited to experience. So allow it in. Don't resist it. The more you allow yourself to be present in your life and to guide you, the more magical your life will become. Now it's the time for you to start trusting that, to start living in alignment with your soul, to start living in the flow of life and your path. There are many good things coming. Just trust and flow with it. You are always loved and supported because love is all there is. Okay, guys, that's it. That's all I got. I'm right under 1 hour, so I'm gonna go now, so it doesn't go over an hour again. And yeah, I'll be creating and posting my astrological forecast tomorrow. I just wanted to allow for the actual new moon to happen before I go like, okay, now we're moving on. I wanted to give it the honor to actually manifest, to happen properly, which is in a few hours from now. But I hope that anybody who is still watching found some value in this, because I am sure I'm not alone experiencing this right now. And yeah, if you are experiencing this and if you're noticing, know that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And yeah, I was quite happy to get a message, because I didn't have time to channel write for me all week. So I was like, okay, thank you. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. Much love to everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this new moon in Aquarius, and happy Chinese New Year. And I'll speak to you again soon. Much love, everyone. Bye for now.